Well, I wanted. Let's talk a little about. I read you wrote a critical work about Orson Scott Card.
Yes.
Well, we all have read Ender's Game.
This game is a very famous book.
Yeah. So many years ago I read some article from Harlan Ellison about the same book. I don't know if you've read it.
I don't remember seeing from Harlan Ellison. I remember seeing one from Norman Spinrad.
Oh yeah, I was wrong. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, do you agree with the idea of Spinrad on that book? I haven't read your...
I think some of what he says, yes, I agree with. But my essay was a little different from his. When I read Ender's Game, I was troubled by it, even when I first read it. And I thought about it, but then everybody liked it so much, okay? So I felt like, well, maybe I don't understand it, but then it still bothered me. And then also, I got to know Orson Scott Card personally over a number of years, because he lives in North Carolina. He lives 80 miles from where I do. And I don't see him at all anymore. But for a while, we were sort of friends. But I was troubled by that book, and then all his other stories that I read. I didn't read everything, but in the 1980s I read quite a bit of Orson Scott Card stories, and as time went on, I found there was, in every story, there was things that really bothered me, and there's a violence. The stories often culminate, especially the early ones. He doesn't do that so much anymore, I guess. I don't know, but in the early ones, the climax of there would be tremendously intense and brutal physical violence against some character in almost every story.
The Orson Scott's writing has turned more biblical. Should I say that?
Well, you know what? The other thing is that I felt that people were misunderstanding him, or maybe that's what he wanted. But it seemed to me that he would, for Ender and Ender's Game, Ender, when you read that book, most people feel sorry for him, that he's the hero and he's misunderstood and he's a victim and he is not responsible for anything that he does, and it's just tragic what happens to poor Ender. And I read it and I think, well, okay, yeah, he's abused, but Orson Scott Card is manipulating me to feel sorry for him when at the end of the book he murders an entire race of creatures, intelligent creatures, okay? And I think, wait a minute, you know, what about them? Shouldn't we feel sorry for them? And then, of course, he says, well, Ender feels sorry for them too. But, you know, Ender kills any number of people. He kills two characters in the story before he ever kills the buggers. And in both cases, he kills them in physical combat and brutally. But the way it's set up is that, well, he had to do it because they were going to kill him. He is self-defense. But the more I read that, the more I felt like this was very phony. That it was trying to make you feel sorry for a character. That it's like making the defense that whenever anyone commits violence, that, well, they had to do it. They didn't have any choice. And, you know, it seems to me that most of the time when we commit violence, we have a choice. Okay? Sometimes you could say, okay, well, we had no choice, we were attacked. But, you know, most of the violence that's committed in the world is not done because people have no choice. That's what they always say. Okay, we say we have no choice. We have to invade Iraq. We have no choice. They blew up the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's think about that.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, did they really? Who did it? You know, is this the best response to invade? You know, so, but that's always the argument that's made, and it seems to me that Ender's Game makes that argument in a way that is pretty airtight. I mean, it's hard to disagree with it if you read the book, but when you step back from the book, it seems to me it's teaching you about revenge. It's teaching you about feeling sorry for yourself, and if you feel like you've been hurt enough, then you have the right to hurt other people.
That's the Rambo argument.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that actually, I mean, if you look at what Orson Scott Card has written in the last 10 years, I mean, he's very openly now, you know, very, very hard right, anti-gay. You know, he's really. And I felt none of these things were a surprise to me. It seemed to me that he was the same person in 1985, but it was not as open. And so that I thought for 20 years about Ender's Game before I finally sat and I would write this essay, and I thought about it a great deal, and I read it very carefully, and I made many notes, and then I wrote my essay, and then I said, okay, people can agree with it or disagree with it, but I just wanted to say what I thought, and then they can make up their own minds. They don't have to agree with me.
And what about the second part, Speakers of the Dead?
I talk about that a little bit in my essay, but not too much. It did seem to me that even in Speaker for the Dead, that Ender, you know, he's supposed to be now a man of peace, and he goes around from place to place, and he speaks for the dead people. He gives the point of view of the one who's been disregarded or spurned or killed. But again, the way he does it in the story, and you should read the essay. I really can't describe it too well, but it seems to me that Ender is always right. He's always innocent, and he speaks for the dead by attacking the living. It's always about, you know, how he's in a position of moral authority, and he's speaking down to all these people who are too stupid to realize how bad they are. Okay, or they're so caught up in their own evil they don't realize how bad they are. And maybe that's sort of what I'm doing. I don't know, but I find that hard to like.
That's what the Spinrad called the emperor of all things, right?
Yes, he's the best person in the universe.
Yeah.
The character, and Spinrad talks about how that's the kind of story we all like, of the abused character who becomes the ruler of everything, or is better than everyone. And that's what the Ender story is. And I don't tend to like that story. Okay, I don't like anyone being the emperor of everything. No one should be the emperor of everything. No one is that good. No one is that innocent. No one is that. No one never makes any mistakes. Okay, and enough so that we should give them that authority. So I feel like we should all be able to criticize the emperor.
Yeah. That's good.